JM in the AM. Well, David Fishof's here, which means Bedlam has already set in. We're going to have to explain this because I don't think you want people just showing up to this event.
I do.
You want people showing up.
Yeah.
And they walk in. They mention my name.
They mention your name.
And they walk in for free.
And yes.
That's how we're starting.
You heard me at AM and the JM.
That's how we're starting this conversation.
That's how we're starting, yeah. Now, it's not the Yankee game.
That's correct. All right, David Fishof's here. The last time we were together
yes,
in any type of radio setting was when I was speaking to Jonathan Pollard.
And
that was in the Inbal.
Right.
In Jerusalem. It was, you know what was amazing about that? I don't know what you remember about that day. The first half of the conversation was not great. Right. And the second half was insane.
He opened up.
In fact, it's not even a matter of opening up. He allowed me to start directing him as to what people wanted to hear. He was so into the nitty-gritty and the details when we first started, and people were just not, I mean, I'm trying to imagine as somebody who's doing this many years, what the listeners are curious about. And they weren't curious about that stuff. And then he let me, veer the conversation a certain way. And then it was off the charts and ended up being, a tremendous ratings grabber. And that video has been seen 1 million times by people. And, you consider him a hero. And he's certainly somebody who tells it like it is.
Well, not only does he tell it like this, I remember seeing him taking money out of the bank. I was walking to Yerushalayim, and I bumped into him. And I said to him, "Can I take a selfie with you?" And he said, "Yes, please." He was so nice. And then what happened was that I posted it, and I got so many, more than any star I've ever been with.
Of all varieties?
All varieties. But no, good things. Good. But then I reminded him a story. When I was producing the American Gladiators, I was flying to St. Louis, and I'm on the plane, and his lawyer was on the plane, and he came over to me, and he said, "Mr. Fishof," he said, "I'm on my way to see Jonathan Pollard, and I represent him." And I said to him, he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm going to see the American Gladiators." That's when I was producing it. Sure. So funny. I'm going to St. Louis tomorrow for my film. And he said, "I'm going to tell Jonathan that I met you." And I kept getting letters from him. He would watch the show on a little black and white TV in jail. And he would do the show, and him and I were writing back and forth. And I remember sending money to his wife and trying to help him. We kept in touch for a long time, and he remembered. And listen, he
remembers everything.
Oh yeah,
he remembers everything.
And then I've been bumping into him a lot. He's at the Waldorf every day in Israel.
Some other meeting, huh? Every
day he's always got a meeting. And I sit down with him, and I remember introducing him to my son, and we were walking and. About going to law school, going to college, and he had an opinion on everything. He's really a remarkable man.
So you turned out to be a Waldorf guy.
Not really. I mean, I go there for coffee.
Oh, right. You're more of an apartment guy.
Yeah, I'm an apartment guy. Yeah, I stay in David's Village, and I spent a year there. I went to yeshiva every morning, went to the Kotel, and I'm going back in January.
For how long is this permanent?
6 months. 6 months. I'll do 6 months. I did last year.
You're literally going to be in Israel from January till the summer.
Yes. And I'm going back to yeshiva.
People are always fascinated that it's doable in your business. People would think that you need to be on the spot in Hollywood and places like that.
Well, I do, so I fly back and forth. I have a camp. I go back and forth, and I go to,
And when there's we got to do a lot of stuff here. Yeah. Let's start with this.
Let's start with the movie.
David Fishof, the well-known founder of the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp and one of the most well-known sports agents in another era, but one of the most well-known sports and entertainment agents in history. Including the agent for Phil Simms, for those who are local Giant fans, including the agent for Lou Piniella, for those of us who are older Yankee fans, and including agent for Ringo Starr. Yes. Because internationally we're speaking to a lot of Beatles fans out there.
15 years. I did
15 years with Ringo Starr. Yeah. You could tell us all the wonderful things about it. People think he's crazy. You could tell us that he's a really nice guy.
He's a really nice guy, yeah. And he would, Shabbos, my favorite Ringo story, I have a bunch of them, but Thursday night we're in Buffalo, and I just signed him to go on tour. And I said to him, "I'll see you in Chicago next week." And he said to me, "You said you're going to be with me." And I said, "I know, but it's the Sabbath, and I'll go home, and I'll come see you next week." You can't celebrate the Sabbath in Buffalo. So
that's funny.
It was funny. And I remember calling my wife. I said, "I'll see you in 8 weeks. I'm going on the road with Ringo." And every show, he said he sent the plane back for me. He said, he's going forward. He's told the driver, pick him up after the Sabbath. And there's so many funny stories. I'd walk into Denver after a show, and at the end of a show, and the whole band would start dancing, and they would just. So it became a funny thing, but so respectful of Shabbos.
I got to remind myself, because you know how it is when you write a book.
Yes.
When you write a book, by the time it comes out and they start interviewing you about it, you forgot what you wrote.
100%.
Like, you just have no idea anymore. But I have a suspicion, as I look at my Jewish Heroes chapter, I'm about to present the book to you. I have a suspicion, and it's so funny because I remember nothing about. I shouldn't say I remember nothing about writing the book. That's not fair. Oh yeah, here it is. Page 51.
I made the book.
Well, you didn't just make it. You made one of the most important chapters, the one about Jewish heroes.
Oh, thank you.
We called you a Jewish hero.
Thank you. Well, I consider you a hero for keeping Jewish music for 43 years going on.
I appreciate that.
I remember when you started. Why? Because I'm a big believer. Jewish music kept me from. That's the bottom line.
By the way.
When you travel.
By the way.
Yeah.
What made me think that I thought I included you in the book? Because as you're talking about being with Ringo,
right,
I write the following about you. His job, Fishof explains, allows him to express his creativity. Booking tours for the stars is what he's good at. But while in his car or his hotel room, he's listening to the music of Avram Fried. For teenagers or even adults struggling to define themselves in the priorities, David's message is incontrovertible. So there you go. That's how we introduced you in the book. Then there's more about it.
But it's so true, because Jewish music kept me on the road, kept me from, but when I say kept me from, it just reminded me that I'm a Yid first.
And there were other, I remember it being even more serious than this. I guess I didn't want to reveal everything about you in the book, but I remember you once told me that as the music was playing in some show that you were doing, whichever tour it was, you're backstage with headphones on listening to Avram Fried. I think that's where I got the whole Avram Fried
and
thing.
Mordechai Ben David, right. Avram Fried. Yes, they kept
So
me.
it wasn't just in the hotel and car, which I wrote, but it was also literally as your performer was on stage, you wanted to tune into the real stuff.
Right. And when I went back to my room, everyone went down to the bar, and I always put my Jewish music on and just reminded me, you're a Yid. I put in Ringo's contract that he needed a car 6:45 every morning that we were in the city, because I wanted to go to Minyan. So I would find that, there would be a car there, and I'd have a Minyan. I'd invite always everyone who owned the kosher restaurant. I'd say to them, do me a favor, bring me, I'll give you tickets. And I'd have a whole Minyan at my shows at night for Mincha Maariv, and it was great. They'd bring me pastrami sandwiches. It was so funny. Jones Beach, Garden State Arts Center, Chicago. I met so many great from people over the years. So, and Ringo would always have to meet my friends. Who's this? Another friend of yours? Another friend of yours?
He doesn't realize how close-knit the Orthodox community is.
But okay, here's my favorite Ringo story.
We'll get to this. Don't worry.
Oh, this one I got to share, because you talked about Art Scroll. So I get a call from the Schottenstein family, from Jay Schottenstein's office, that he built a new arena in Columbus, Ohio, and he would like a Beatle to open the arena. So I turned, so his assistant says, "Is Ringo available?" I said, "You tell Mr. Schottenstein if he wants Ringo Starr, I want a free set of Gemaras of the Talmud." Yeah.
He said that?
That's what I said. Me, I come out with things. His sister calls me back the next day. He says, not only will he give you a set, he'll give Ringo Starr a set, but on one condition. He wants the photo of Ringo holding the Gemara with his family, and him and his family. So, we're ready to go. So I said, I'll make that happen. Now, the whole time I'm thinking, we're getting to Columbus, Ohio in 3 weeks. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Finally, the day before, I turned to Ringo on the plane. I said, this thing called Kabbalah that Madonna's in? I said, well, we have a thing called the Talmud. And I explained to him what the Schottenstein's family's done. And would you do me a favor? Would you mind meeting the family and taking a photo? And, and they're going to present you with a book of the Talmud. So Ringo thought it was really hip, So we come into Ohio State. Now, walk into Ohio State.
That's where he built the new arena, Ohio State University?
Ohio State University, the Schottenstein Arena. Mm-hmm. So I said so as we're walking in, I'm getting clobbered by everybody because they're coming over to me. Is Christopher Sims going to come to Ohio State? Is Christopher Sims going to come to Ohio State?
That was Phil's son.
Phil's son. He was either going to go to Texas or Ohio State. And Ringo can't understand why no one cares about Ringo.
Oh my gosh!
All they care about is Chris Sims. Chris Sims. So he said, "Who's this Chris Sims?" I explained to him, football. But anyways, we go into a room, and there's the family, the Schottenstein family, and there's two sets of Gemaras. Because I said to Mr. Schottenstein, I said, "We only need one for Ringo. Just give him a brachas.
Right.
I'll take the whole set.
Right. Let him start with that."
Yeah. So there he is, beautiful. He presented us, and there's a picture. It was from the Jewish Week. I'll share with you too. Wow. It's Ringo and I holding the Gemara. And Ringo turned to the family and said, "I've never seen David so happy getting a free set of Schottensteins." And, there's a great photo. And as a matter of fact, I was with Zvika Reisman in L.A. About 3-4 months ago.
Major art scroll guy.
Yeah, major art scroll. And I met the publisher, right. the son.
Rabbi Gedalia.
And I told him the story, and I sent him the photo of Ringo
funny?
Holding the Schottenstein Gemara.
Oh, is that funny?
And it was on the Jewish Week. Yeah, it's really funny. The stories that you have on the road.
David Fishof is here. David Fishof and Kevin Bright. Why does the name Kevin Bright sound familiar? Those of you who are familiar with television, if you've seen the very famous sitcom series entitled Friends, he's the executive producer of the Friends television show.
Yeah. It's $1 billion franchise a year to this day.
Could I ask you?
Yeah.
And people will be ashamed of me that I'm all these years in media and I don't know the difference. What's the difference between a producer and executive producer? Is it who puts up the money or not?
Well, that's a good yes.
That's basically what
movies,
it is. Executive is the one who puts up the money, and producer's like the coordinator.
Right. The coordinator, but no, right. The producer is the coordinator. Does all the executive producer in television is the one who created the idea, came up with the concept, and it's
not necessarily put up the money.
No, because the money in television comes straight from the studios. Warner Brothers and Fox and all they put up TV studios money because there's so many series and everything like that. And so, but it was Kevin's. He was involved in the original.
So
when
it's your idea, you are the executive producer.
Yeah, you're the executive producer. And what happened is that he also directed 50 episodes. His father was a very famous comedian. He started out as Jackie Bright, Lower East Side, the Lower East Side boy. Yeah, just like you. He's Lower East Side.
Oh, I'm a rookie on the East Side. I'm just there 36 years.
Yeah, well, his father was Lower East Side.
But Jackie Mason was Lower East Side.
Right, and he represented many performers like the 4A alums. His father that became an agent. And I was 20 years old, and I would hang out in his father's office, and we were very close friends. As a matter of fact, his parents came to my, you'll love this, his parents were at my wedding when I was 20 years old, sitting next to Art Raymond, because they knew each other.
So he was very Jewish.
So he was very Jewish. So now, Kevin, as I went to him to talk to him about, I'm doing this movie, and we'll talk about the movie, and he said to me, "I'm not going to give you any money, David, but I'm going to be your rabbi." I said, "What is that?" He says, "My father always wanted me to be a rabbi, and I'm going to make the movie for you. I love the story." And you wouldn't believe it. He made the movie. And he said, "I'm getting my own director." He says, "Let me make this movie for you." And like they always tell me when I make movies, "David, stay out of the kitchen. Let us cook the meal." And because, I get in, I want to do this. He made an incredible film. And, Kevin is he tells the story that I was in his father's office 50 years ago. I had my yarmulke on. And he saw how much his father really liked me and really spent a lot of time with me.
And ironically, he ended up hiring some yarmulke-wearing people on Friends. Am I right?
Yes, he did. And yes, Jeff Astroff.
Right.
Well, he hired all those writers, and he directed 50 episodes. He's such an amazing guy. And
you have seen this, and I know we keep getting sidetracked, but hey, you're here. That's what happens.
Okay.
You've seen this incredible, I don't want to say influx of from people, because it used to be Hollywood was Jewish, and there were plenty of Jews to go around, but a lot of Orthodox in the last 30 years, no?
Correct. Even sports agents, I've seen a few of them, and writers in Hollywood. It's
Marvin.
easy it's easy to be a writer in Hollywood because you don't have to work on Shabbos.
Right.
So, Jeff Astroff, he's got this guy's had hits for 20 years. He did Friends. He did the VP with Louise Dreyfus. He's got another one now. It's so funny because the show's on Friday nights.
I was just going to say, well, not only that, but don't they do a lot of filming Friday night, or am I wrong?
Like, no, okay, yes. In a comedy series, they
so he missed a lot of those, no?
No, what they did is they did it earlier in the day, or they would do a Thursday night for him. But, but you're seeing a lot more from people in the entertainment business. Right. I don't know if I told you, I'm teaching at YU.
You're now a professor.
I love it.
What do they call you?
They call me professor. And it's so funny. The other day, I walked into Stern, and all my students came over to me and said, Professor, you're here an hour early. Why are you here an hour early? I said, because when I'm home, my wife makes me throw out the trash. You call me professor. They're so great. I'm really having a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. I didn't realize how you have to entertain people for 14 weeks, 28 classes.
Toughest job teaching, right? Teaching's the toughest job.
No, I've been preparing for it.
And when you walk in with special guests, they're always from the sports world, rock and roll world. Who do you bring in?
Okay, so I brought Tamir Goodman.
Oh, nice.
I'm teaching
basketball.
Yeah, basketball. I'm teaching sports and entertainment marketing.
Right, and he's been good at that.
He's been great. In sports, the boys want sports. Right. They're all talking sports, and the girls are into entertainment. And so I got Kevin Bright's going to do my class. Oh, wow. I've had Phil McConkey in last week.
The old giant.
The old giant. He talked to them. I'm getting people in marketing and people in marketing and people that can teach them. I want to teach them to have a personality because it takes that. Teach them to be, aggressive and how to make a presentation, how to get there in the real world, what it's really like.
And the greatest thing you could teach them is to fear nothing.
To fear nothing.
Because if you would have had fear, you never would have met up with George Steinbrenner. You never would have met up with any of these NFLers that you started with. You never would have done any of this.
Right. So I told them.
You got to have no fear.
No fear. And I told them that, we started doing we did a project on why Chaim Galbut, the great basketball player, should come to YU.
The Florida kid.
The Florida kid.
Of course he should go to YU.
Of course he should go to YU.
He'll be an international star if he goes to YU.
There's 300 rabbis out there in every city saying he should come to their college, their college. Right. Boy, he's going to play 18 games.
Right. And then, of course, there's the factor where he may end up wanting to spend a lot of time studying Torah. And as I always joke with Elliot Steinmetz, we lose our best players to the base medrash.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. And I've been in touch with Elliot,
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to go to a game.
He's coming on hopefully before. It's already December 1st. Hopefully before December 6th, because on December 6th, I believe it is, YU starts this incredible run of Saturday night home games, and we want to encourage people to go.
Oh, and I want to go too. Then I'm going to go too.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Saturday nights.
I have a couple of the students in my class
that are players.
Yeah. And the Stern class, I have 6 of the girls are on the basketball team.
Wow.
And the boys class, so it's fun. It's really been a great class.
Well, it's a natural thing, right? People go, they join the sports teams, they network in college. I mean, we hear about this, all through the NCAA. Right. They network in college, they end up with a lot of tremendous connections, right? It's always like that.
And I wanted to focus on the NIL. Today anyone can be a sports agent. For years you couldn't be. So I wanted to open the doors for these young men and ladies and explain to them that they should find passion in their life. They should do something, even if they're going to accounting, get a sports client. And there's so many areas in the sports marketing that they can be doing, but find passion in your life.
Yeah. And one of the first things you did this morning, and I'm always ever grateful to you, was give us a year-end donation to JM in the AM.
It's important.
Why? Because the person behind it is passionate about what he does.
100%.
43 years, Mr. Fishof.
Who else is going to wake up at 5 in the morning to give the people Jewish music? No, I think it's so important to keep you going.
But you love passion. You love being around people who are passionate about what they do.
100%.
You walk into a restaurant, you want to see a restaurateur who's obviously going the extra mile to make it a really nice experience for his customers.
During COVID, I'm in the live music business, so there's no way to make a living.
Right.
So what I did was I interviewed 160 rock stars and managers and record label people. I would tell people, I went to Alice Cooper and said, Alice, would you come on? I'll charge $100 a question. I'll interview 20, 30 people. I'll give you half the money. And I split it with everybody. Roger Daltrey, the band Styx, Scorpions, Jason Flom, president of a record label.
Who got the most Zoom people? Like, who had the biggest audience?
Shep Gordon.
The most?
Yes. Shep wrote a book called Supermen. She's Alice Cooper's manager, and there was a movie about him, and people wanted advice about their career. So what happened was there was two common denominators in 160 classes. Number one, it's about the song. It's all about the song. The song has to be a hit song.
We know that in Jewish music. It's all about if it's a good song, no matter who's singing it, you have a good shot.
You have a good shot. And number two, passion. All these people had passion in their life, and that's why they became who they became. And passion to me is most important. And people should wake up every morning and want to go to work and want to have passion in their life.
And just as an example, you've seen this and a million other films being filmed.
Yeah.
The amount of time where people are standing around, the amount of time the actors have to wait, and the details they have to pay attention to. If you're not passionate about it, that project ain't getting done.
It ain't getting done. Yeah,
Simple
when I was producing The Gladiators, I remember I walked into Sam Goldwyn's office. He's a junior, the son.
Right. The son of the great Sam.
The son of the great Gold. And I said, I want to learn to get in the movie business. Sam, can you to help me out? I'm helping you out with The Gladiators. The Gladiators ratings went through the roof after I did live tours.
Correct.
And he said to me, you have to have passion. And I said, I want to work on a movie set. And he gave me a job. He said, go work on this set for 2 days in New York. I said, I'll give coffee. I just want to watch what's going on. I want to be there. And, he also said to me, a film only gets made if you have passion. You have to have passion behind it. Because, a lot of these producers make 10, 12 films, but they get into it. They live the part. They want to share the message.
And months and months.
My first film took me 5 years.
This film so long.
It's almost on its third year, but it's amazing. This film, let me tell you about it.
Let's talk about this.
Okay.
David Fishof and Kevin Bright invite you to an exclusive preview screening of a film entitled The Bridge. When Tragedy Strikes, Play Louder, followed by a Q&A with David and Sam Grundberg, world chairman of Keren HaYesod. It's happening Monday, 1 week from tonight, starting at 7:30 at the West Side Institutional Synagogue on West 76th Street in New York. Information, I guess you'll tell us how to get information.
Yeah, I want everyone to come. They should come. And like I said to you earlier, if they come in and they mention they heard me on Nachum Segal, they come in for free.
You're going to tell the ticket taker that?
Yes, I'm telling I'm telling my staff.
If you walk in a week from tonight at 7:30 to the West Side Institutional Synagogue and mention the name Nachum Segal, you get in for free. It'll start with the movie itself, right?
Start with the movie.
How long is the movie?
Movie's 70 minutes, and then we'll do a Q&A. I'm share what the movie's about.
Well, I saw the trailer. Explain to everybody what this is about.
So, following October 7th and December, I went to visit my son Mordechai, who was in Shalavim, and my best friend is Sam Grundberg. Sam was the Consul General of the State of Israel in Los Angeles. We hung out every day. His wife went back to Efrat. She said, take care of my husband. So we had fun. I remember walking in the embassy every day saying, no neshach, no neshach, And we would...
That means he's not packing, folks.
Not packing. And we produced some great shows with Billy Crystal for the Israel 70th. Sam moved on to Israel, and he's from Efrat, and we went to he runs Keren HaYesod. Anyways, I called him up. I said, I'm landing in Israel. I want to go straight down south. I want to see what happened. As a son of a Holocaust survivor, my dad survived Auschwitz and Buchenwald. I wanted to see firsthand.
The great Cantor Fishof.
Cantor Mark, yes, here in Hackensack, New Jersey.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
what was the name of the congregation?
It's Bethel. Now Chabad has it.
Wow.
And so it's kept going. So Sam set me up with a driver. I went down to, I landed. I went down to Be'eri. You couldn't get into the Be'eri and Nir Oz. You couldn't get into those places. And the mayor gave me a tour. The young lady, I forgot her name, but she gave me a tour. And after 3 hours of showing me Nova, showing me everything was going on, she said, David, I have to leave. And I said, where are you going? She said, I'm going to a funeral. I said, whose funeral? She said, one of the 3 hostages is with his funerals now that was shot by friendly fire. Yotam Chaim. I said, which one is he? She said, he's the red-haired drummer. So I decided, I said, I want to go to that funeral. I show up to the funeral, and as you know, in Israel, the funerals are packed. 3,500 people were there. And it didn't start off with a Kalmala. It started nothing. It just started with a drum solo. His brother...
I remember we saw this, yeah.
Yeah, his brother set up...
In his memory.
A drum set in front of the grave, and he starts doing a drum solo for 20 minutes, and the father takes the sticks and throws them in the grave. At that moment, I said to myself, if I could bring him to my next rock and roll fantasy camp, I'll change his life. I know I can change his life.
Meaning the brother.
The brother. I wish I could have brought both of them. Yeah. So I go back that night to Sam. We have dinner. And I said, Sam, I want 10 Israelis. I want to bring 10 Israelis. My camp is sold out. and we're doing the music of Van Halen. So I got members of the Van Halen band. I want to find 10 Israelis. I know not
Who were
Israeli
at
folks.
Nova?
Either they were Nova, or they were heroes,
Or they lost
or
their
they
sibling.
something. They were one guy. He guarded Kibbutz Magen.
Right.
He lost 2 of his friends, but they held 40 people, 40 terrorists away. Another one is Bar Raphael. His father, Lior Raphael's body just came back 2 weeks ago.
Correct.
One is this singer from Nova Festival, Raz, and we auditioned 10 of them on the air on Zoom, and because we didn't want just folk singing, they had to know rock and roll, and some of them knew a lot of Beatles and everything like that. So we picked 10 of them, and we flew them to America to come to the camp. Now I had 3 big issues. Number one, I couldn't tell anyone, especially in the media, because
Oh boy.
they would have been protesting at my camp. 10 Israelis.
And even the musicians, by the way.
Well, that's number 2, and they needed therapists. They were warning me, you have to have therapists there. Have therapists. I prepared 5 therapists to be ready in case they needed it.
Did you need them?
At the end, we didn't need them. It was one guy said,
Music's
"I
the
don't
best
need
therapy."
it." Yeah, and my guitar is my therapy.
Correct.
Number 2, I couldn't tell my customers, because if my customers, I would say 85% are not Jewish. They're from the Midwest. They're rock and rollers. So I was afraid
They're influenced by the media.
Right, totally. And I was afraid one guy was going to get up there. I'd come to play with a bunch of Israelis. So I was afraid to introduce them. I was going to tell the guy, hey, here's your money. You can leave. But I was afraid of the controversy. And number 3, I was afraid of the rock stars. If I would have told these rock stars, Michael Anthony from Van Halen, the bass player, that, hey, by the way, you're going to be playing with some Israelis next week, he would have said, David, I love you. I'll do the camp some other time. I don't want to get involved. I didn't tell anybody. The night before, I'm having dinner with Sam. I said, Sam, Kak Zayan, my father, that was his Yiddish, right? I said, I'm telling everyone. And I got up there and I introduced them. I said, ladies and gentlemen, I met 10 heroes, and I'm going to introduce you who they are. They gave me a standing ovation, and 75 people get up, gave a standing ovation, and the non-Jews came over and said, we want to call our band Sela Rock. The Jews said to me, if I don't play another note, I got my money's worth. So I went around, and it was such an amazing reception. I went around to the rehearsal rooms. I usually go the last day, and I say, thank you for coming to camp. I said, this time I went the first hour I was there, and I said, I went into a room with a band. I said, do you use Waze? Oh, yeah. Do you use WhatsApp? Yeah. I said, do you know that comes from Israel? No. I said, yeah, it does. It comes from Israel. And I said, so many other apps. And these Israelis are normal. They just love rock and roll, too. And these people said, now, unless you live in Florida, unless you live in New York, Chicago, L.A., you don't meet Israelis. They see what the media says. And I said, thank you for giving them a reception. And it became a love affair.
What about the musicians, the rock and roll stars?
So then what happened was I went to the first day, musicians playing with them. Tommy, he's in the band Van Halen and also Cinderella and Whitesnake. And I said to him, Tommy, you just played a set with these are all from Israel. I said, you see the picture of that guy's on the amp? That's his father, Lior Rudolph. And his father's currently a hostage. We didn't know that he was killed on the 7th. And he's playing because you're his favorite drummer. And then the musicians, the Israelis, gave them the dog tags. They hugged. And each day you see in the film, they meet another rocker who didn't even know they're from Israel. And it became a love affair. So then I went to Kevin, and I said, Kevin, can you help me? And he said, I'll make this film, like I said.
So you had people filming everything.
Okay. So after I went into the room the first time, I saw the reception that these people gave us. I called Gil Goldstein. Now, Gil Goldstein's another film guy who produced the Kardashians for 20 years. Did you know that?
No.
He produced it. He went to YU.
I'm proud to say I never saw a minute of the Kardashians.
I know you didn't, but he's executive producer, Gil Goldstein. I said, get me a film crew. We got a film crew. We filmed the whole thing, and I went back to Israel for the year, and I told the story, and the film's remarkable. It's really great.
Did any of the musicians suffer? Now, when it comes out, are people going to be protesting them? Oh, these guys were playing for Israelis. Like, are they worried about it?
No. Oh, you know what? I didn't tell them.
No, but now it's going to come out.
I know. It's one of the concerns. I think.
So the rock and rollers never knew.
They never knew.
So when you said exchange of dog tags, didn't they realize it was an Israeli?
Well, afterwards they knew it. But
during the process, they didn't know.
They didn't know.
So now the only way someone could publicly find out is when this film comes out.
Right. So the big star, he texted "Long Live Israel," and right after he did it, and he posted it, and he got 500,000 likes. Slash is in the film. So I went to Slash, the great Guns N' Roses guitar player, and I asked him if he would come jam with these Israelis privately. I asked Paul Stanley from Kiss. So Slash sent me a video.
Paul Stanley's Jewish, right?
Paul Stanley's Jewish. Slash is not Jewish, but his name is Saul Hudson. He sent me a video from backstage at the Academy Awards. He said, David, I can't be there, but play this video for them. And it's an amazing video. And it's in the film. He says, I realize you're coming from Israel. I love Israel. You're going to be playing the whiskey. You're going to be playing the whiskey and the Viper Room, the famous Viper Room. And David Fishof is going to take great care of you. It was the most beautiful video. So when they saw that Slash, when they saw the love that these rockers gave them, and they changed their lives, and they're all doing great now.
And the film will show all of this.
The film shows it all.
Are you worried about protests at this thing?
I'm not worried about protests. I'm probably worried that, like my son-in-law said, you probably won't have a business after this because these rock stars aren't going to want to do your camp. I don't care. I've been doing this 30 years. It's all in Hashem's hands anyways. So, and camp is doing great now. But, I'm not scared. I've been showing it at camps. People are blown away by it. They can't believe, that we did this. But what's amazing is these musicians, these 10 musicians, how they're doing great now, and they're so happy. Yeah, and
they've been blessed.
They've been blessed, and they're writing songs. And songs is a way to find healing. And they've all healed. They're all doing well. Their families, and you really see their stories. And they've gotten firmer, and it's really beautiful.
Amazing. A week from tonight, you're all invited. A week from tonight, The Bridge. The Bridge is the name of it. When Tragedy Strikes, Play Louder. Monday night, December the 8th, starting at 7:30, the West Side Institutional Synagogue, 120 West 76th Street on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. If you mention the name Nachum Segal or anything that closely resembles that, you'll be let in for free.
Let in for free. It's really important for people to see this film. Now, it's a sneak preview, so there's no reviewers. That's why no reviewers. We're hoping to play the major film festivals, so you can South by Southwest and Toronto.
South by Southwest is a natural for that.
Right, exactly. So I'm just waiting for that every day. I'm waiting for them to get the approval. Right. I didn't get into Sundance as anti-Semites, but
yeah, Sundance. Yeah,
Sundance went, but
very waspy group, right?
Right. But South by Southwest is music.
Isn't it amazing? These are all my years at FMU.
Yeah.
I know this whole circuit.
Yeah. So all the all the Jewish festivals, Miami, Toronto, San Diego, St. Louis, they've all asked to see, they want to show the film. But I want to wait because if I can get acknowledged at South by Southwest, then I'll play all the Jewish film festivals and then I'll go on Netflix and everything. Right. So this is a sneak preview.
I don't know if you can get De Niro to put it in the New York City one, but
I'm hoping. But if I get one, I just need one. Right. So Tribeca would be great. The Con. So, but I think it's a great film. I think people should see it. And really, I wanted two things. I wanted to play the college campuses. And number two, I want the non-Jews to see that these Israelis are normal. They just love rock and roll like you. And if they see someone like Slash, who's got 30 billion followers, and Kiss, and they see these people are playing with these Israelis, it will counterattack people like Paul, like Roger Waters.
I was going to say, what do we do about Roger Waters? Do you know him at all?
No, I don't know him. I mean, I don't know. I've met him. But they have a great organization called CCP, run by David Renzer, who focuses all day on promoting Jews for rock and roll, and he got him thrown out of BMG, and he's angry. He's an angry guy.
Meaning
now.
The rock group, BMG, the music group.
Yeah, the music, his publishing. They threw him out because of what he's done, and David Renzer single-handedly. He went and he protested it, and he said, "You can't have this guy on a label. It's really bad."
There's nobody as high profile as him that's like that, right?
Yeah.
Meaning Roger Waters is the...
He's the worst. But
he's the worst, and he's in an exclusive group, right?
Well, not anymore. No,
Give me a couple other names that worry
Tom
you.
Morello is
from who? Which band is that?
Rage Against the Machine.
Also,
yeah, you have a lot of them.
Oh,
now.
I've seen videos of.
You have a lot of them. It's terrible. It really is terrible that a lot of these people. And what's crazy is they're so uneducated. They're so uneducated, as these college students are. Right. So I felt that I had to do something, and I think music is the way that. I wasn't around during the Holocaust time. We feel as a child of the Holocaust. So what can we do? I took what I can do to help.
No, I know one thing you could do, and you're doing it. You're getting to Israel as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying that out of fear. I'm just even before October 7th, I would always preach here that the future of the Jewish people is in the state of Israel. At least you get that. At the future of the Jewish people is in the state of Israel.
Totally, it's safer. And I'll tell you, the opportunity.
Again, not just a safety issue. It's the future of everything. That we belong there.
And today you can work online.
Correct.
And I think the greatest year is I went to yeshiva every morning. I went to Daven Dakota. I went to yeshiva every morning like a kid, which I didn't get to do in my year. You know, when I graduated from Breuer's, I don't know, I didn't do it. And my father said, you can learn in America.
Correct.
He could afford to send me to Israel. And there wasn't a program like they are today, you know, so I'm really enjoying that.
I think my grandmother was also quoted with the old, you could do the same amount of learning here.
Right. That
whole routine.
That was.
I've changed a bit over the years on that whole thing. But,
yeah, me too. Totally.
Bon Jovi, is he all right or not?
He's great.
Are you a friend of his?
Yeah. He's great, and you know he's very close with Belichick, and they together. And
oh, really?
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah. Belichick, Bon Jovi. Yeah, they got friends up in Boston and everything like that. Bon Jovi's great for Israel. Yeah, he's been great. You know, but a lot of stars are.
What about Hootie? Is he good?
I don't know, but I don't know anything about what Hootie doing. It's country music for me, but. I tell you what,
Darius Rucker.
The problem is that they should just shut up and say nothing.
Yeah, but we always say that about those who are negative. We wouldn't say it about those who are positive.
Right. I mean, it's really bad that they're afraid of their fans. But I tell you, one guy that I'm doing a camp next week with his whole entire band, Billy Joel. Billy Joel, if you watch
his current band, you can't get his old drummer there.
I got Liberty.
What?
Liberty's coming.
Does Billy know?
Yeah, they're very good friends now.
What?
Yeah, they
has he been on stage with him recently?
No, they haven't been on stage. But Liberty, Billy wrote the introduction to Liberty's book. Liberty is so funny. So he came to.
Liberty did a Jewish music concert once.
No,
Shia Menlowitz had him. Oh gosh, I wish I could remember what night it was. Great drummer.
Oh, Liberty's amazing.
Great drummer.
So my secretary said to me when she came to work for me years ago, she said, I'm going to marry a rock star. And she wanted to marry Ringo's son. In the end, she married Liberty. They met at my rock camp, and they've had a baby.
Met at the camp?
Yeah, they got married.
And I'm wrong. Shia did not hire Liberty. He wanted to. He ended up getting Elton John's drummer, who I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
The one with the crazy antics, with the drumsticks. I forgot his name.
But
that's who was there that night.
So I'm doing a camp next week in Miami with Liberty, the lead singer.
And Billy's going to be there?
No, Billy's not going to be. His band's going to be there. But what I wanted to get to the point was, if you watched the Billy Joel documentary, years ago, I went to Billy Joel's house for one Sunday night. He invited me and Lou Piniella to come to his house. And his agent Dennis and I got close, and he tells Billy, he says, David Fishof arranges Lou Piniella, and I are friends. And Billy says, invite them to my house for dinner. So I call up Lou, and I said, Lou, Billy Joel wants to invite us to his house for dinner. He said, tell him $1,500. I said, Lou, he thought it was an appearance. I said, Lou, it's Billy Joel. Fishof, if you're a friend of yours, I'll do it for $1,000, And it turned out Bobby Mercer was next to him in the house. And Thurman Munson's wife was in the house, too. It's right when Thurman died. And Billy and Bobby Mercer says, I'll go for a free record. Let's go. So after a Sunday night game, we piled into a limo, and it was me, Lou, our wives, and Bobby Mercer, and we took Thurman's widow,
Diana,
and we went to Billy Joel's house. And we were invited there, and they were very nice. I mean, they even got me a kosher meal. That was so sweet. Elizabeth, his wife, and we're sitting there at the table. But before we got in there, the wives had those little cameras. They want to take a picture.
Right, disposable cameras.
Disposable cameras. And Lucy, no, put those cameras away. All of a sudden now he knows who Billy Joel is. We can't be a big shot here, okay? So everyone puts away their cameras. We get to Billy Joel's house. We get out of the car, and Billy says, "Luke, can I take a picture?" And it was so funny. And he starts fawning over Lou and Bobby Mercer like a little kid. And
he was a big Yankee. He's a
huge Yankee fan. And then he came to the meal and he said, Lou, look, I made the salad dressing for you. And he was like a little kid. I saw Billy like a little kid. The middle of the dinner, Lou turns to Billy, says, Billy, you bet NFL games? And he says, we got 5 on the game tonight. So Billy says, I'll be in for 5. He said, it was 5,000 at the time in Mercer. And he was like a little kid, but we spent all night. And we went down to his music room, and he played for 4 hours every song in the songbooks except his music. He never played his music.
Wow.
And we were singing and dancing. It was a night, and it's been in books. And Billy's talked about the night that Lou came to his house for dinner, and so
Is it in the documentary or not?
It's no. So what's in the documentary is I turned to him and I said, "Are you Jewish? You know, Joel, you know." And he said, "Yes." He says, "My father was Jewish," and he started talking about the Holocaust, and then never a word. I never heard a word until he did the show at Madison Square Garden, and he wore the yellow star.
Famous scene.
And then in the documentary on HBO, he dedicates about 20 minutes it's a 5-hour documentary about his Jewish background, how his family owned factories, and it's so Jewish. It is so great to see Billy Joel talking about Judaism.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know what's amazing about you? Every time I see you, I don't hear repeated stories. You always have new stuff. It's unbelievable.
Well, that's why my students are why you love it.
100%.
I keep writing out a new idea. I got to share this with them. I got to share that with them.
You've had quite a career.
It's been fun. But can I tell you something? I say in the movie, this is the most exciting thing I've ever done because of what it's about. I think the movie's it's amazing. And to have someone like Kevin Bright, also came out. Don't forget, he's got a huge career. Right. This, Friends is bigger now than it's ever been. Israel has pop-ups, and they have their restaurants popping up in Jerusalem and in Tel Aviv, in Las Vegas. The show is on constantly, and it's held out as long, like Seinfeld, it's held out huge. And Kevin just felt also a need to want to do something. That's what's happening in the Hollywood community. People want to do, what do you do after
Jerry himself?
Jerry was amazing. Yeah. People, but I find that when I go to all these events in California, people want to know, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And Kevin did it, and he made a great film. And I really want everyone to come see it. And please, they can bring their friends. We had a lot of seats there at Westside Institutional on Monday night. And just mention Nachum Segal, and I promise you will get a great seat.
Monday night, a week from tonight, starting at 7:30, the Westside Institutional Synagogue, 120 West 76th Street in New York. Again, save on the admission price simply by mentioning the name Nachum Segal. It's called The Bridge When Tragedy Strikes. Play Louder, done by David Fishof and Kevin Bright. Again, the event will be followed by a Q&A with both David and with Sam Grunberg, world chairman of Keren HaYesod. It's all happening Monday night, December 8th, starting at 7:30 at the Westside Institutional Synagogue on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. And a shout-out to Ilana and Daniel Lowy as well.
Yes. Yeah, the Lowy family's been amazing. They've helped us a lot.
David?
Yeah.
Always a delight.
Yeah, really. 43 years. Wow.
Always a delight. I'm going to sign this book for you.
Please.
I cannot believe I haven't gotten it to you yet.
I'm going to read it. No, you don't happen. So you write a book.
I know, but when you're in it.
Right.
When you're in it, I got to send it to you.
Yeah,
come on.
Absolutely.
Can you imagine you're a Jewish hero? What would Chazan Dad say about that you're known as a Jewish hero?
Well, how about, I think it's better as my mother say, knowing that I'm teaching at YU.
She would say, who?
Professor.
You talking about David? Are you talking about David?
Because we fought for years about education. She was right, So
she was right, but you were also right.
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 Know. Exactly. Well, I got.
Let's not minimize the fact that you've made it in a really tough industry.
Yeah, 20 years old. I got Elliot Maddox as a client.
Correct.
So what was I going to do?
Right. You made sure to represent all the Jewish heroes, including Elliot Maddox.
Yes.
Who many may recall converted to Judaism.
Yes. Well,
you didn't have nothing to do with that, did you?
No, he was interested before, and I went to interview. I was writing for the Jewish Press, and I went to interview Ron Bloomberg.
Right.
And who's still alive, and the first
We're
DH.
still in touch with him.
Yeah. Oh, he's an amazing guy. And I wanted to book him for an appearance, and I was staying at Camp Degola, and Irv Bader had a camp, and Irv Bader said to me, get me a ball player. So I got him Elliot Maddox. I asked Ron Bloomberg, and Bloomberg said to me, he says, I can't, I'm rehabbing, but Elliot Maddox, he's injured for the season. He
got hurt on the drain in Shea Stadium.
Right. So he was rehabbing.
It's terrible. I know all this stuff.
Yeah. So him and I drove up to the mountains to do the appearance at Irv Bader's camp. Right. And that's when I turned to him. I was 20 years old. I said, why don't we open an agency and represent ball players? And then he introduced me to Lou Piniella.
And you were responsible for one of the greatest nights of my life.
Which one?
Which, of course, my rabbis will be very upset to hear me refer to it in that way. I had told you that in 1975, we walked into Shea Stadium on Bat Day. My brother and I were both little kids. We walk in. In those days, Bat Day, all the bats were signed by different players.
Right.
So you know who you were going to get. and the kids in front of us got a terrible bat. Like, you know, one of the players who nobody wanted. Then they opened up a new box, and my brother and I step up. Both of us got Bobby Bonds bats. It was 1975, the 1 year Bobby Bonds was the Yankees. Fast forward, God knows how many years later, David Fishof invites me to the Baseball Writers Association dinner where Barry Bonds is being presented with his first MVP award. And who am I sitting next to? Bobby Bonds.
Oh, wow.
And I tell him the story. And it was great. You know how some players, you tell a story, they blow off a little kid, you know, like, they have no interest in this, or get lost, rather, I should say. And in this case, he was so appreciative to hear how amazing the story was. It was great. Wow. I was at the table with him, with George Foster.
Right.
You, of course.
Yeah.
And who else was at that table? There was a third ball player at the table. I don't remember who it was. But anyway, it was a great night, and I got an opportunity to tell him. When I told Mercer of blessed memory, because Bobby Mercer's no longer with us, when I told him that I was in the stadium in 1972 when he hit his 100th career home run, I thought he'd be like, you know, singing and dancing. Right. Like, oh, a guy came. Oh, really? Thanks. Goodbye. Like, you know, you know how it is, but who can blame him? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Who can blame him? Like,
Bobby was a good guy.
A very good guy.
Good guy.
But,
I'm in touch with his wife to this day.
Really?
Yeah, we're on Facebook friends, and I hear back and forth from her, and she keeps up his memory. She keeps up his memory.
This is not a tine on him. It was a tine on me thinking that was such a big deal to him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Thank you, David.
Oh, wow. Nachum Segal, thank you so much. And I hope they all come see the film.
West Side Institutional Synagogue a week from tonight. Everybody make sure to go. More coming up. You're listening to JM in the AM.